Greetings, YouTube friends. What can a lifetime in the markets teach you about recognizing a high probability trade before the move becomes obvious to everyone else? Today, I'm joined by Larry Pesavento, veteran trader, author, and one of the leading voices in Fibonacci ratios, harmonic patterns, and practical pattern recognition. I've had the opportunity to study with Larry and watch him trade in person. And what stands out is his ability to reduce a complex market to price, structure, risk, and a clear, actionable plan. Welcome, Larry.
Hi, thanks, Margo. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
I've learned so much from you, Larry, about harmonic trading patterns, the ABCD pattern, and also risk management. And I was hoping that you would share with my viewers just some of the insights that you have on those things.
Okay, yeah, that's a good thing to start with because when most people, when they there's an old adage what I learned back when I started in this business back in my first trade was in '59 when I was a freshman in college, and I started trading actively by my senior year. And I was always told that, you always want to focus on how much you want to risk as opposed to how much you want to make. And I happened to meet the manager of the Merrill Lynch office there in Indiana, where I was going to school, and he happened to eat at my grandmother's restaurant quite a bit. And so one time I was there listening to him talk to a couple of my relatives, and he was talking. He said, the first thing I teach my brokers is, everybody when they call them up, say, look, we got a really good chance here to make $500 or whatever it was, any particular thing. And well, there was long before Microsoft, but big ones back in those days was Eastman Kodak and Polaroid camera. Neither one of those exist anymore. So people would buy it and say, look, you can make $500 if you do this. He said, I told my brokers, I said, look, talk to them about, yes, there's a potential to make good money, but the most you can lose is $300. And everybody can assimilate with the $300. So if you teach them to think about how much money they're going to lose versus how much money they're going to make, they're more comfortable. And so I think that's the main message that I try to tell people is focus on how much you have to risk, not how much you have to lose. That's what I do in all the trades that I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that really transformed my trading. Going from, personally, everybody's got a different challenge when they come into trading. And my personal challenge was not so much blowing up accounts, as I know many people struggle with that. Mine was more how to really make gains in the account. And I found that really getting that risk management right was the key to that.
That's correct.
Yeah. What with your ABCD pattern and how you trade and see the markets, do you really focus on just several certain specific patterns and then you focused on dialing that in?
Yes.
Do you want to share with everybody and maybe show a few examples or in the current markets and kind of what you're looking out
for? I can do that. Hold on just a second. Let me share my screen here. And I'll just go through. Hey, we could do one right now as we're actually working. Hold on here. Here's the sharing of the screen here. And where do I hit the application? What do I hit now? I'll hit share down here, I guess.
Yeah, share, and then there should be. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. Okay,
perfect.
and then it will tell me when my screen is being shared right now, I guess, right?
I can see your. Yeah, it says Zoom on there.
All right, let me get my charts up here. Oh, we've got one coming in right now. Hold on just a second here. Here's an asymmetrical bet coming in here. Let me do something. I'll take this off. So we will move this over here to a smaller time frame and get it out of the way here. So here's I'm watching the Dow Jones. Okay, and here's what we're watching right now. Get this out of the way. We're watching a series of ABCD patterns completing. Okay, now I'm just going to look because we've got one coming up here at 50. Can I get this thing out of the way? I just hit that, I guess. Yeah, okay, good. Yep. I want to get, no one wants to see me. They want to see you, but not me. Anyway, you can see here, if I start doing the ABCD patterns, there A, B, C, D, there's a whole bunch of them coming together up in here. See how they're clustering up like this?
Yep.
So what I want to be doing, I want to sell at the high end of this cluster. So all I have to do is I measure the ABCDs. I'm going to do them one at a time here. Get this out of the way. There it is right there. Here's the first one that we had. There was a low this morning, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you had your first ABCD movement right to there. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
see that one right there. Then you have another one right behind it.
Yep.
So you got to have that one right behind it, and you got that one right there. And there it is coming up there at 5160. Okay, I think that's the number I'm looking at exactly, Anna. I think that's pretty much it. Is it 51? Yeah, right around 5175. And then I've got several others in here. You see how they're forming like this?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm lucky enough, they'll all come up to the same number that I'm trying to get, which is right up there. Okay, and then I got
Wow,
it.
look at that.
And see, I got another one right behind that. Okay, and I got another one right behind that. So I got all of them coming together if they get there. Now, if they don't, then I have to, change my change my strategy. I'll have to sell at a lower price. But if they get there, I've got a couple hours. Well, usually the first 2 hours of the day by 9 o'clock. If it hasn't reached it by 9 o'clock, then I haven't got. But this sets up an asymmetrical bet because now what I've got here, I've got a selling point here with a very, very small risk of about $500 where this move right here between 25, that is a $3,000 move. So I'm risking 1/6 of the amount of that move to see if I'm right. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep,
In other words, at
absolutely.
this particular point, I know my risk is 500. My profit objective is all the way down here. So I'm
Yep.
risking 500 to make 3,000. That's 6 to 1 in my favor. The probability of this pattern working is about 75 to 80%. So that's why it sets up, what we call an asymmetrical bet where everything is working in the right direction. You can see this pattern right here, just like this. I
Yep.
want to show it to you in the Russell is absolutely getting creamed today. Hold on just a sec. See how the Dow stocks are going up and
Mm-hmm.
Russell stocks are going down.
Yep.
This is the most important chart that anybody should see that is investing. Okay, now the Russell 2000 are the 2000 companies that are smaller. These are small companies, okay? But they make up a pretty good margin. I mean, a pretty good group of people that trade them. They're the second largest of the futures markets that are available. They have more open interest. Number two, number one is S&P. Number two is Russell. Number three, Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones is number four as far as open interest. Another number of players that are in the market. So if we take a look at this long-term daily chart, you'll see the pattern that I want the weekly. Let's get the weekly up because that's the one that's easiest to see. Okay, now there's the weekly pattern that goes back because I'm
Mm.
looking for something like this to come down here sometime by Thanksgiving. We'll probably be down in this area right here is my guess. Now,
Yep.
I've not many people, but see, you can see the three drive pattern here. There's drive one, there's drive two, there's drive three, and I measure the time from the high to the high, and
Yep.
and there we are, drive one, drive two, drive three, and this is the reasoning why we're looking at the market to come down. See, this has dropped $3,000 here. Hold on just a second. I believe it's just dropped about 3 grand. Let me see. Yeah, it's dropped $3,000 here in about 30 minutes. See now this one did not make the target. See, it was and I'll tell you if mine does get hit, it'll probably do this because this is it's lagging behind
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes the patterns just don't nothing's 100%. Let me
Right.
get this out of
Well,
the way.
it also creates like a little bit of a price target zone, right? Kind of like a box
Oh
almost.
yeah, the zone is very close. I mean, the thing is, when you do an ABCD pattern, see, it gives you some really good parameters. See, there's really close
Mhm.
to what you're looking for. See, I'm thinking the Dow Jones is going to do that. Now I don't know whether it's going to do it or not, but with the oh boy, they just backed off. Look at this. You see what's happened just now?
Oh yeah, look
See,
at that.
yeah,
It did. It
it's
made that
that's
rejection.
mainly because people saying, "Oh my God, look at the Russell. I better get out of the Dow." So that's what this is probably not going to happen right now because of
Yeah.
the fact that that stopped so quickly. But there's a chance it could still go up. If it will get below here, then I know my pattern was not quite met. But that's what I'm watching anyway. I've had several others that have worked pretty good today, but this is the one that I'm watching. Let's take a look at the gold market, okay?
Yep.
This will be another good one that we're watching, doing the same thing. Now, I happen to be taking a look at the gold. I'll bring this up to you and show you right here. Okay, here's the gold market. Oh, no, that's the S&P. Hold on. Where's the gold? Where'd you hide me, you little rascal? I'm not used to doing the, here we go. Let's move this around here. There's the gold market right there. So you see, we had a
Yep.
really nice, there was your long position. You see the A, B, C, D position right here.
Yep.
There was your long position came in. This is a little forecasting tool that I use. It tells me where the market's supposed to have big moves. And I had a big move from there to there. So I was long here and I was short there. And right now I'm flat. I'm going to sell it again if I get it up in this level right here. But I had a very big move here, backed off to the 382. This is the key to this gold market now will be this spot right here. And what
Mm-hmm.
I do is I mark this because if it breaks down below that level, that tells me that this trend that has been going on for that long a time has changed, and I want to be looking for a short. My prediction is for the gold market to be down on the day, you see,
Yep.
or at least closer near the lows. That's a long way away. That's this is this move right here from there to there. That was $100, $100. That's $10,000 on one contract of gold, and it took about 10 minutes. I mean, that's a volatility like we've not seen before. So
Yeah,
that's
and you're trading futures
yes,
on the shorter term time frame chart.
yes.
And yep, so that is that's fascinating. One of the things that I learned from you that I mean, I think a lot of traders have heard of, the Fibonacci retracements. But one of the things that I really digested from you was to focus on that 382 retracement. And that if it holds that 382 retracement, then that is really indicative of trend continuation.
Mhm.
Conversely, if it loses that 382, then it's kind of the opposite story.
Yep, that's what I try to do. Yeah. And the main focus is find patterns that are really easy to use. In other words, the ABC. This is a really easy pattern right here. This one's
Mm-hmm.
more difficult because it's straight up and your risk is greater. Down in here, your risk is very small. Up here, your risk is a little greater. So you have to quantify that by using something related to time. And that's what that blue line says, that it
Mm.
should top right around here. You can see the bottom is off a little bit, but we should rally up into this one. And then later on today, as it weakens, we'll start to see it move to the downside.
How do you pick your stop loss targets? Do you have like a
It's a dollar amount, Margo. Usually, most of your folks are stock traders. Is that what they are?
I think it just varies. Everybody, there's
Yeah.
a lot of different systems out there. I'm
Okay.
mostly a stock trader. So,
Okay, let me show you one. It's a classic. It's probably the most active. Well, it is the most actively traded by a number of people in the world, and that's Apple, because everybody except me has an Apple. I have an Apple product, but it's a Nano that's about 50 years old. Anyway, let's get the Apple chart up here, and we have a really good. I think we were doing that on the daily, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think we were doing that on the 4 hour. Hold on just a second here. Yeah, there's what we were doing. There's Apple. Okay, now here's Apple. There's a perfect, oh, shut the front door just a minute. Okay, here's a perfect example of ABCD in action.
yep,
Jeepers, creepers, look at Apple go. No wonder the Dow's up 400 points. Jesus, that's,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, there's your A, B, C, D, and Apple. There was the buy right there at the
yep,
74. Here it is right now at 306. Okay. Now we sold it here because this was a 10-day rally. Okay. Now you
mm-hmm,
can see the smaller ABCD patterns are in here. That's
mm-hmm,
I don't trade this, but when I do my radio show, I people ask me what particular things that I'm looking at. So at that particular time on the 17th of June, we were making ABCD patterns all over the place in Apple. There's one right here. See, there's one right there, and then there's another one right behind it. I'm not going to blow these up because it's too hard to blow them up, but you can see they measure
mm-hmm,
right up to that level right there. And then if we take our little Fibonacci tool and mark it over here, you'll see you're setting almost exactly at 0.382. All right, so there was the sell right here. Your stop was up
yep,
here. It went against you about a dollar, but then it went down. You made $25, and then you have to go long. Look at this. It stayed here for 2 days
yep,
at the exact number, and now look at it. Now you see the same thing. You got A, B, C, D going up. Now we got news today They did a deal with China or something like that, and that brings it up to that level. That's one of the reasons why well, that's up. That in the Dow Jones is up quite a bit just because of that one. So we'll see if that. But there's a perfect pattern: A, B, C, D, right to the downside. So that's what you're trying to do, is to find these patterns. And these are a lot of smaller ones in here, but these are untradeable. This is certainly a tradable one. This is tradable one because it took 5 days to complete. Okay, these
Mm-hmm.
are just little patterns. When you see them take a longer period of time, then that's it. But you could take that. Well, you can't do that because they changed it. Let's get the daily up. You'll see the same thing. There's that same pattern that we did on the daily. See?
Yep.
That's the same thing on a daily. This is very unusual pattern here in Apple today. So that's one of the reasons why the Dow is so strong, and we might even still get back up there. Did we get up to that number? Yeah, we still got a chance. We still got a chance for it to get there. See, it came right back up.
Oh yeah, it did. Yep.
Yeah, still got a chance for that. This is a if it gets there, this is a I would call it a class A trade. Well, they're all class A, but this is a really high probability if we get up in here, because
Yep.
that's an ideal situation. You got everything, and you can see the volatility now. The Dow swinging 100 points. A lot of that is Apple, and there's probably one or two others in there that are making it a little crazy too.
Yeah, and is that so this is almost like a cluster of, because you've got all these ABCD patterns coming in at the
Yeah,
same time, same
that's what you're
price
looking
level.
for. You're
Yeah.
looking for it. Well, there's a special word for it, but I'm losing it right now. I don't use it very often, but it's I'll
Well, it's
think of it. I'll
yeah,
think of
there's
it. The
confluence of,
clustering is the word that I use, but there's a technical term that also that folks use. But it's a clustering of numbers coming together, and that's what you're looking for.
yep, is that high confluence pattern. That's awesome. Thank you, Larry. So, you know, I'm curious from your perspective, what do you see as one of the biggest mistakes that traders make you know,
Oh,
in their
that's
trade?
that's that's really simple. That's really simple. What they do, see, back when I started doing this, I had to use a Western Union teletype, telegraph, not telegraph, ticker tape. I had a Western Union ticker tape in my house, and I'd have the charts from or there were no charts. We didn't have any charting stuff, but I would get the prices from the Chicago Mercantile Exchange on pork bellies and cattle and stuff, and T-bills and things, and gold. And then at the Board of Trade, I'd have soybeans, wheat, and corn, and soybean oil, things like that, and treasury bonds. But we didn't have the charts like this until 1983. What you're looking at right now, we did not have available till 1983. And we didn't have these computers, where they were in 1983. They were in the beginning stages. Not many people even had computers. So that was the whole difference of what we were doing during those times. But once we had these things like this, see, when I worked, I've done so many patterns over the years, and I'm a pharmacist by trade. I have a whole bunch of degrees. I'm an RN. I'm also a pharmacist, and I have a master's degree in business and statistics. But I haven't worked for anybody else for 55 years. Well, 50 years. I've
Nice.
always I've always done my own thing because I found this pattern out of a
Mm-hmm.
rare book called H.M. Gartley's Profits in the Stock Market that was written in 1937. In 1937, that book that he wrote about that cost $1,500. That was the cost of
Wow.
4 Ford automobiles. That's how important it was. So uh, I said, well, it must be pretty good. Well, when I was a broker for Drexel Burnham in Beverly Hills for the years between 1975 through 1982, those 7 years, I had my secretary, basically what she did is she would take these numbers and put them on a chart so that I could see the patterns.
Okay.
We had the data, but we didn't have the computer to put it together, so it all had to be done by hand. At the end of the day, they had good charts, but you didn't get those until Saturday morning. You'd get them by register special delivery and have all the week's prices, and then you planned your ABCD patterns on the next week based on those daily charts. But I was working as a broker, and I didn't want to risk very much. I wanted to see what was happening intraday. So I had those ticker tapes coming in, and we would be busier as hell, like little bumblebees, but we'd get some really nice patterns set up, would hand graph them, and yep, this is what we want to do. And I did it, and I did it for almost 7 years. And then in 1982, January of 82, I went to Chicago to be a member of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange because I knew these charts were coming and the volume was going to be increasing because people would be able to see the charts and put the moving, like if you wanted to put a moving average, well, that's not a moving average one. That's, I don't know what that one is, but I don't even use those things, so I don't know. So, but you can put those things on there if you like, and that's all I do is look at this. I don't look at nothing else. I don't look at any oscillators or any of that kind of stuff. It just doesn't work for me. I just want to keep it as
so it's
simple as
kind of, it's
possible.
almost like a lot of traders make it overly complex, right?
Oh yeah, no, but though I'm trying to get to the reason why the biggest mistake that they make. Okay, first of all, they got all this data now. All right.
Yeah.
Now you put a trade on right now. Okay. Now what they do is they start watching it. Oh, look. Wow, I'm up 150. Oh, I'm up 5. Oh, now I'm down 500 because the money's telling you exactly where you are. I never used to get how much I made or lost during the day till the end of the day.
Wow.
We didn't have any of that. Now what happens is if people focus on the money, and that's the
Mm.
wrong thing to do. Focus on doing the right thing and forget about the money. The money is incidental. So if I put a trade on like this, and I've had several trades. I have a trade on right now. I'm short the gold, and I'm getting ready to. Excuse me. I'm out of the gold. I'm getting ready to sell it again, but I'm still in the S&P. Where's the S&P at? Oh, it's coming down nice. Now here we go. So here's where we are here. Oh, shut the front door. What did I do wrong now? Bear with me. I've got to get back into my program somehow. Can you see it now?
Yep. I see again.
Okay, yeah. I'm not good with this technical stuff because I don't do this very often. See, now we're coming down here right about now. Hold on a second here. That's going to be at around another hour or so. It's coming down nicely. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's just look at it like where we are right here. Now we're going to do
Yep.
back with the whole thing. We're going to remember we talked about this. Is the pattern that we're looking for is this pattern right here. It's called the ABCD pattern.
Yep.
That's an ABCD on the upside, and this is an ABCD on the downside. That's exactly what that is. Now I'm
Yep.
looking for that pattern to match up with a risk control mechanism that I can use, which is that Fibonacci sequence. So if I go over here and see this is the low right here, correct? You see that low?
Yep.
Draw that in like that, put that up in there like that, and there's your absolute high right there.
Yep.
See it? See it coming down right there? I'm going to send this to somebody right now that's interested in learning from me. Hold on, I got to do it this way. Hold on just a second. Uh, just to send it out to him. There you go. Okay, now so that's what I'm looking for. Now that was the big one, but you see there's smaller ones. You can see it, see the market coming
Oh
down
yeah.
in the same. See this? See the
Mm-hmm.
ABCDs all the way down. So that's what you do to determine. And because what you're wanting to do is to lock it here. But see, I haven't been watching this. I mean, after I put that on, it never went against me very much. But we've been talking about 20 minutes. I haven't seen this do this for quite a while now. Right around this time, I'm going to be saying, oh, well, I'm going to be taking profits and maybe even reversing my position. But right now, that has looking at the god darn thing doesn't do any good at all. If I were had I been in Apple today, which I'm not, because I don't trade stocks at all, I probably never would have caught that much of a move because I bought it here at 74, okay, and I got out of most of it up here at 301, I think is the number that we were looking at. That's the 618. Hold on just a second. I believe that was a number that and I didn't do this. I just showed, see the 618 comes in. Yeah, there it is right there. 301. That was our profit objective. I mean,
Okay.
but that's a pretty good move. I mean, see, we sold it here, sold it short, bought it back here, long, and then we got it out of it right there. And look, it went exactly to the 786.
Yep.
Now, here's something that is a little trick that people don't realize how important these Fibonacci numbers are. if you'll take a handheld calculator, okay, and type in 0.382 and
Mm-hmm.
then hit the square root button, you'll see that it pops up 0.618. Wow, isn't that cool? Hit the square root button
Yeah.
again. It pops up to exactly 0.786. So all those numbers are interrelated. And the people in Wall Street, they know these numbers. That's why they stop exactly at 618. Look at that. Here's Apple, just to give you an example. There's your low to there. There's a 618 on Apple.
Yep.
I mean, that gives you another. This is why this is so. This is the Gartley pattern that Gartley, charged so much money for his book. It was 550 pages, but the importance of the book was done in 250 pages. There it is, right there. You can see that.
Wow.
There's your
Yep.
382. There's your move, and that's it. So that's what you're trying to do as you line these up.
And you know what I was just thinking when you were talking about that, a lot of you hear a lot of traders, and particularly because I traverse the financial astrology world as well, and a lot of people worry about if they share their idea with the world that then it will stop working. But
Oh shit!
this is a good example of the opposite
No,
of that, right? Like
it's
this
the
this is
exact
used.
opposite. The more people, the more important it is.
Yep.
The less
Yeah.
people, the less important it is. But believe me, in
Yeah.
financial markets, the things that people are looking at, whether it's Nvidia, any of those things, that's the most amazing thing because people see that this thing was done by the Magnificent Seven. All those fancy stocks.
Mm-hmm.
All that's changed now. They're in a bearish mode. Here it is right here. There's the Magnificent Seven, and you'll see that it's not so magnificent. You can see we had this big move down, and now we're having a rally back up. But there's the ABC. The target is right down here, and it's still valid because we're going to get another one and bring it down to this level right here. But that's why this one is pretty much over the hoopla on the Magnificent Seven. That's the main thing that I'm watching anyway.
You can nest these ABCD patterns inside of each other, kind of
Oh
like
yeah,
you
well,
look at
just
a 2 minute chart inside of a five
sure,
minute
sure,
chart inside of
sure.
a
Yeah,
15. Yeah.
this happens to be a daily. If I go down to a 60-minute, you'll see a lot of them. There they are
Mhm.
right there. You see there's we can do just do hold, excuse me. Let's just do a couple here. So there's your I move this over so you can see it a little better because there's your ABCD leg right here. Takes you
Mhm.
down to there. Then you got another one coming in. That's the one right near the bottom, probably. There it is. There's your bottom right
Mhm.
here. Come within a dollar, and here you are, 10% higher in just a few days. So,
Yep, that's excellent.
yeah,
Wow, thank you so much, Larry.
you're welcome.
This is awesome. It just goes to show that really it's about using a system that works. It's not
Oh
about
yeah,
finding a secret that no one else
yeah.
understands, right?
This is worth. This is the worth. It's worth the cost of a medical and law education combined.
Yeah.
And you don't have to work for anybody. You don't have to put up with any baloney. You just got to look for these little patterns and buy and sell. That's all you have to do.
Absolutely. Amazing. Thank you so much, Larry.
You bet, Margo. We'll
Do
do
you want
this again sometime.
do you want to tell the viewers where they can find you too? If they want
Just
to
go to your local post office. My picture is usually up there under one or FBI, SEC, or something like that. Easiest way to do it is to send an email to larrypesavento@gmail.com, and I'll send them out a copy of the newsletter if they like and contact information. I teach people how to do this, but the problem is, Marco, as you know, most people don't want to do it. They say, "Oh, just tell me where to buy or sell." Well, that's not what this is about. You got to learn to do it yourself. You give a person a fish, you feed them for one dinner. If you teach a person to fish, they eat the rest of their life. And that's what I try to do is to teach them to fish.
I echo that 100%. That is the way is and it's also one of the other biggest mistakes I think new traders or traders all over the world make is just wanting someone to trust someone else's work. They just want someone
Oh
else
yeah,
to
they don't
tell
want
them
the
where to buy or sell.
responsibility. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's your fault that I lost you, son of a gun. No, I've
Yeah.
been through that. That's why I don't do that anymore. So,
Yeah. No, it's just about learning how to do it yourself.
yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much. I
you
really
bet,
appreciate
Margot.
you taking
Thank
the
you
time
very
with me.
much. You
All
bet.
right,
God bless.
everybody. Until next time.